And you're live.
Okay, great. Thanks. I'll do my little normal routine here starting off. Everybody knows different hat. And there's that red thing you see on that hat is a hog. And this is a hat to me from Cezanne.
Nice.
Birthday. There you go. We're just having an incredible week over at Micro Moment, which is one of our techniques. Oh, by the way, Randy will not be here today. Randy, and remember he told us last week during this session, he was enjoying all the fame he has for being on big screen TV and everything as a baseball player. Well, he has a game today out in Phoenix in Arizona somewhere. And so he's actually playing a game in the big league again. So we'll see how that goes next Thursday, I guess. But he will not be here. So it'll be me and Tim and Mark, which is really all you need. I mean, let's give it a break, Anyhow, we've just had one incredible with our micro moment. And if you're brand new, our micro moment is a trading technique that you're only in a transaction for 10, 15, 20 seconds, sometimes maybe a minute, and you're out. And you only trade for max an hour a day. You don't trade for more than an hour a day. And we have our sessions 8:30 to 9:30 Central Time, which is when the market opens Central Time. And we're through before 9:30, usually 9:15 or something like that. Anyhow, we've been doing that for 127 weeks now as a subscription service. We've been doing it over 5 years in-house. But Mark and Tim trade our accounts. Cezanne also trades. And they trade their accounts also. And our average is over 100% per week, has been for 127 weeks as a subscription service. To give you an example, today there were 9 trades, just apples and Qs, and 61.43 plus percent just today. Yesterday was 61.6071%. So a total so far this week, 243% plus some change. Incredible technique, incredible. And when you take those morning sessions, you can make comments. You can talk. Tomorrow it'll be our phone Friday. You can actually call in, and everybody hears and sees what you're saying. And the reports from our clients are just every bit as good as what you're seeing right here. It's an incredible technique. Very, very easy to learn. They teach you how to interpret the charts. And we use our proprietary charting. It tells you when to get in and when to get out of a trade, and that is it. You don't worry about anticipating perceived increases in equities or decreases in equities of companies. You just follow the micro moment trading technique rules, which is only one. And that one is if you get into the deal and it turns red, you get out immediately. Take a penny loss, a 2 penny loss, because you may be back in it, a minute later for a profit. And that's the one rule. And these guys are geniuses at it. So given that, we have Tim and Mark. Both of them have new, what do you call it, side jobs with Micro Moment.
Moonlight.
Which I'll let them describe as I turn it over to them. And then Mark wrote the editorial for this weekend, for last Thursday, and it'll be discussed today. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. So anyway, just to reiterate what Joe was saying, with the micro moment trading technique, we're in and out of these trades. We don't hold things overnight, so there's no, worries about these geopolitical events, news, irregular accounting problems, or whatever. Right, and we're back to cash every day. So it allows us to, sit tight at night and sleep well, and not have to worry about the market so much. Tim, I don't know, how's Apple going? You guys have been trading that now for a while, right?
Yeah, no, Apple's been great. It's trading range is fairly reliable, so we catch a lot of trades right off the open, and our charts give us just a glimpse into movement. So once you understand our charting, which we can teach you in about 2 minutes, you can trade. Yeah, you can trade this technique, and we've done well. We've done well.
Well, let me say this: the 9 trades today on Apple, there were 7 trades, and 2 on Qs, and Tim did 6 of the 7, 20.1836. Cezanne did 1 trade, and for 6.5340. So You just had an incredible day today, Tim, and Mark was up there. Of course, Mark had a couple of huge hits.
Yeah.
34% plus some change for the day. So.
Yeah, and it's just an indication of the market. So the market conditions are just right for us. They're moving in either long swaths or short swaths. Long or down, up or down swaths that we can take advantage of. So the more the market moves, the better it is for us. We love the volume, love the market movements. That's the best time to trade and for us to make a profit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we put up on our charts. We have 2 ETFs and 1 equity, and Apple is very thickly traded, so we get those extended market moves that Mark was just speaking about, which makes our job fairly easy. And we make about 80% of our trades really in the first 5 minutes of the market when volatility is at its greatest. And I'll tell you what, it's the most fun you can have for an hour a day.
Right. So, we've had the market moment trading going on now for a while with the Qs and Apple and SPY. And now we're introducing the futures, right? So futures in this article that was in the Cow report from this week talked about stocks versus futures, and what are the differences, right? So in general usage, as far as the normal usage out there in the market, people use the futures for diversification in a wide swath, right? So they can buy the S&P 500, capture all 500 of these stocks as far as hedging or other means they may want to do, and use it in that manner as opposed to buying a bunch of stocks in a single bucket, so to speak. There's a couple examples in there. I think it talks about margin. We don't use margin in our normal trading. We don't recommend it at all. I think it's an evil thing. However, with futures, you do have to have margin so that you can trade. We're very diligent about using our stops and things so we don't get ourselves in trouble. And of course, again, we go back to cash every day before we exit the market. Never hold anything overnight, so there's no issues there. Worrying about the market changes that could actually be detrimental to us. Of course, there's some information here about, for example, I guess an E-mini NASDAQ 100 and these FANG stocks. So it's just a comparison of how people normally use the futures and use these compared to stocks, and then what the cost would be to do that. And there's some costs associated with making it cheaper as far as because of the leverage that's available in the futures. But overall, the thing is for us, that's just kind of give you an idea of what futures look like compared to stocks and how they're used. But overall, we're doing the same thing we are with micro moment trading. We're buying these and selling these in real time, and we're back to cash. We don't ever hold anything overnight. We're watching the trends, we're taking advantage of those trends. And so when we trade the S&P 500 index itself or indices, the futures index, or the NASDAQ 100 E-mini, that's all we're doing. We never hold this overnight again because that's detrimental to us, or it could be. Because you wouldn't want to wake up in the morning and find out, hey, by the way, I saw you held this overnight and now there's a difference in value. It's settled daily, so you may have to come up with some money all of a sudden. It's not a fun thing. So
yeah, Mark, let me ask you just quickly before I go on. What's the average length of your trade in futures?
So our chart is a 3-minute chart. So in that 3 minutes, we're looking to gain 10 points on the NQ, which is the NASDAQ E-mini 100. So typically, if it's working out in our favor and the trend is continuing, we can stay in that trend longer. It may be shorter, right? As we know with micro moment trading, sometimes it happens really fast. But we have a set fixed amount we want to get per trade. We want to nip, this 10 points out of there, do it again. And my personal goal, and I recommend everybody else, is get 50 points a day. If you're trading one contract, there's a $20 multiplier essentially for per point on the NASDAQ. So 50 points times 20 is $1,000 if you're trading one contract. If you're trading 10, of course, do the math. You're trading 20 contracts. It becomes pretty significant after a while. But like anything else, you got to start small. So we start in our paper trading account, learn how things work, start with one contract in real time, and work our way up from there.
Okay, cool.
And before we start each micro moment session in the morning, I always ask Mark to give what he's done with futures an hour or so before we start the meeting Central Time. And he always has, some trades. It's always really impressive on dollar amounts. So.
Yeah, because a lot of times I get in the morning, I start trading sometimes at 6 in the morning. I see the market moving, and you can do that, right? Because the futures trade 23 and a half hours a day, 6 days a week. Or the stock market, by 8 p.m. it closes, depending on the extended hours trading in some stocks, blah, 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 right? And so it's really convenient. I mean, if you had a job, really, and you just want to do this in the morning, you could actually do that, right? Get proficient at it, spend a few hours, go work, or go work out, what you want to do, right? I think that's the beauty of all of our techniques, right? To give you that freedom where you don't have to, go to a regular 9 to 5 job. You can work from anywhere you want in the world, in the country, as long as there's internet.
Yeah, it works out great for Mark because he has his cash cab. He has to
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's really that's a great point about creating a lifestyle that you want by first taking control of your own money making. We have a discussion almost every day about the failure of most brokers to really make you any sort of significant money. Joe was relating this morning what it would take over 40 years to put $1 million in if you had a perfect life, right? And our technique really allows you to work an hour a day, really make all the money you need, and go and live your life. And that's one of the most attractive parts of what we do. Many people mention this, on the call. I think most people find us for a couple of reasons. One, they'd like to make more money. They'd like to stop losing money in traditional stocks and start making some money. But secondary and close to that, I think people are unhappy in their work and want to be able to do something else. And, you can do that here with any one of our 3 techniques.
And to me, it's kind of the perfect storm happening now. We had the pandemic. We've got all this thing with the vaccines going on, and people are scrambling around. They're going to lose their job maybe or something because they don't want to get the vaccine or whatever the reasoning is. But you could do this. I mean, if you wanted to change careers, it's going to take you some time, perhaps, to get up to speed. But you can do this.
I think what was interesting today, and I read that article out of CNBC, which we monitored during the course of that those sessions. And there was an article, and I told them, and they know this. These 2 guys know this. It shoots up at least once or twice a month from some very knowledgeable financial source that explains again how you have $1 million to retire on. When you start at 18, and then 45 years later, when you retire, and they say, if you today it started off $300 and something, and if you get 9% or 9% or something like that a month in 45 years, everything's going to go perfect in your life now. You're never going to get divorced. You're never going to get sick.
Right.
You're never going to get a house. You're never going to buy a car or whatever.
Right.
Your life goes perfect at $300 something a month. In 45 years, you're going to have $1 million. Now, $1 million 45 years from now is not going to be worth crap. It ain't going to buy you hardly a meal, And so that's what's so crazy. Where our technique is, forget all that stuff. We deal with compounding, and this example, and these guys have heard it 1 million times. Take $2,000, put it into an account, and you can do this virtual trading to get your act down before you ever risk any real money. $2,000, never put another penny into that account, never ever. For all these guys who typically make 60% a day, 50% a day, and if you make 6% a week, 6% a week using their techniques, just a fraction of one of their deals, in 22 months of trading, you're going to have right at $850,000. In 5 years, you're going to have several millions of dollars. You can quit, and then you can go out. You can get divorced. You can, go do all kinds of crazy stuff that you never do because you've already got your millions of dollars. And 40 years later, you're going to have many millions of dollars, even if you only got 7 or 8% a month. You just quit. You didn't want to do this anymore, and that's it.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, Joe, and I hadn't even thought about this. In 45 years, if you started today, you're right. $1 million isn't going to get it. You're not going to be able to retire on $1 million at a guaranteed 5 or 6% a year, which is about what you're going to get. Can you imagine in 40 years living on $50,000 a year?
Tim, I was reading an article today in Hawaii. It talked about the excessive amount of money it takes to live in Hawaii, but this is really excessive. They said the average price of a home in Hawaii is $1 million. Wow. $1 million. Now, just try to figure that in 45 years from now, what that's going to be.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you look at inflation, averaging 1 to 2% a year over 40 years,
It's a crazy amount. Yeah.
yeah.
And those are average prices of homes sold, not average prices of all the homes in Hawaii, but homes today sold average $1 million in price.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So forget every major city in the country. You're never going to be able to live there. Yeah, it's just I don't know why they keep publishing these kind of articles. I wish they'd pre-qualify that with $1 million in 40 years. It's not going to be enough. Nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on what lifestyle you want to have, right? If you want to live in a tent or something and hunt all your life, that's fine too. It's up to you. But I mean,
Yeah.
you prefer to have few little luxuries around, right?
Yeah.
Like electricity and things and a flushing toilet.
We have clients. We've been doing this over 20 years, and we have clients going back to the compound stock earnings days, including Mark. They've been with us over that period of time. And we have them, they come on and they do our micro moment stuff, and they'll say, hey, we've been with you 23 years and just want to, say thank you. We're retired, our family's wealthy, blah, 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 blah. And these are clients that are typing this in, anybody can see them. And that's what happens and that's going back to the slow days. Mark remembers a million years ago when we were getting 3% a month was the biggest deal on the face of the earth, 36% a year.
Doing some cover calls, making 36%. Yeah. Yep.
3%. And then the whole world changed. We didn't do anything, but the whole world changed. The guys up in Chicago, the CBOE, all of a sudden loosened the rules, and now you instead of just doing one trade, one expiration a month, which was always the third Friday, still is. But now they have multiple days during the week.
Yeah, weeklies, dailies, they have all kinds of new opportunities. So,
yeah.
We were trying to get 3% in that one third Friday. Once a month.
Yeah.
Randy does out here today. He's doing 3% a week sometimes or day if he's using the daily option. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Thank you, CBOE. They've really created some nice products.
Well, and the trading platforms.
Yes.
Yeah, commissions have gone to almost zero. I guess there's always some little cost in there, but it's just a huge different world.
And they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it to make money too, right? So they're creating these new opportunities for people to trade. And of course, they make money off order flowing and all the other stuff that's happening out there. But it's been great for the average trader too. So it's been really good.
Yeah, the amount of money that has has come into retail trading has just been tremendous these last couple of years. We have a very lively and rich trading environment these days. A lot of money has come in, and it's grown tremendously. But I'll tell you, just any one of our three techniques, they work. We'll put our trades up against anybody, and and you'll see. Absolutely. So, Mark, tell us more about your editorial and your analysis between stocks and options and futures.
Because I just saw this article. So investors have put more money into stocks in the last 5 months than in the previous 12 years combined.
Wow.
Just to hear how much things have grown, right? But anyway, just kind of great or reinforce what we were just talking about. So the futures, I'm sorry, make sure I answer the question right here, but the article this week was about stocks versus futures. So we're trading an index. Say we're trading NASDAQ 100. It goes up and down. We're watching a chart. We have a proprietary charting system that gives us indicators on when to get in and when to get out. You could actually take Apple itself, the stock, if you have enough capital, and you could trade it just like you trade this futures. You could put up a level 2 screen. You'd have a bid and ask. You could buy, you could sell. So it's very similar in nature, right? It's just that the stock is the stock, right? It represents a company, and the futures represent a broad index. In this case, the NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, or the Russell 2000. And it's a little bit different. It goes to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which controls that. And we use, like I said, you can trade it on a much more leveraged basis. So with $500, I can trade, one contract. So with $5,000 in my account, I can trade up to 10 contracts. And so on these trades, we're looking for, say, 10 points per trade. And even if we did only one trade on that, we did 10 contracts. So that's 20 times 10 would be 20 times 10 again would be $200 you'd make, right? but we do this multiple times a day. So this adds up pretty significantly over the day, and the percentages are much higher because of that leverage that we're using.
So, Mark, let me ask you: do you continue to use that $5,000, or?
Yep. So it recycles all day long. So there's no pattern day trader limit.
Okay.
There's no you got to wait till the next day for things to settle out or next week or anything. It settles in cash immediately when it's done. So it gets marked to market. Whatever you just earned and got back to cash, it's cash, goes back in your account. You can reuse it again and again and again.
Okay, but it does require a 5,000 minimum.
Well, you can do it on less. So we always talk about the E-minis. They're also the E-micros. So let's say in the case of the NASDAQ 100 or S&P 500, one contract would require $500 to be set aside to trade that one contract. If you're doing the micros or the micro S&P 500 or NASDAQ, it's only $50 required. So you can reduce essentially the amount of money you have out there. And probably they kind of weird, the brokers, if you put 1,000 in, they're okay. 3,000 they like, they got to make money off the commissions, I guess. So maybe that's what they're looking at. I don't know. But, typically.
Yeah, let me ask you so your new service, which is part of this whole company, same stuff. Is that going to be daily for your people if they want to attend, or what? How's that going to work?
Correct. So we're going to roll it out as a 2-day session first, kind of Thursday, Fridays, and get it going, get people acclimated to it, get some up to speed, and then we're going to start rolling out so we have it on a daily basis, just like we do with the micro moment trading currently.
Okay.
So we're going to have these two things going on at the same time. So you could trade futures, or you could trade the micro moment trading, or you could trade the futures in the morning, because we'll trade before market opens. And a lot of times you can make enough points in the morning that you're okay, and then go trade the micro moment trading after. So.
Well, now, Tim, what about on your stuff? These are actual sessions. How do those work? Where you're one-on-one with people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So recently we started a coaching service, one-on-one, and anybody who would like to spend a little extra time and work on their options trading can sign up through our site. If you go to our site, micromomenttrading.com, and just click on training, you can access a link, then get on our schedule. Mark's will be coming soon, I'm certain. Right now it's just me, but as Mark gets futures launched, he'll be up there as well. But anyway, if you're having any issues with your trading, you're not having consistent profitability with your trades, pick up an hour and we can quickly diagnose what's going on and get that corrected. In fact, I had a session with Bill S. on Monday, and he said, I'm coming in late. I don't know what it is. I always seem to be missing it. And he brought his trades along, and we looked, and it was real clear that he was entering late, and gave him a few extra just ways that he could determine beginnings of a momentum phase. He was able to take advantage of that and has turned around his trading in the last couple of days. So he has more than made back the small investment in coaching right now. But really, if you're having any issues with your trading, and it doesn't have to be with me, it can be with Mark as well. Just pick up a little time and let us help you. We don't want you to lose any money. There's no reason why you can't be consistently profitable with this technique. We've demonstrated this for years.
And listen, Tim, you can do it virtually, even better. We didn't have this when Mark and I got started doing this. But then when virtual started coming on, it wasn't any good. It didn't work very well. But now it's perfect. So you don't have to risk a penny.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, if you're having any issues or you just want to have someone take a look at your trades, see if we can improve your performance, this is a great way to do it.
Yeah. And, that's right. So we want you to be successful. We really do, because we want to be able to hang out with people like us if we can. Not many people understand what we're doing, or we talk about it, look at us kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was at some place the other day, and I had showed this woman what I was doing, and I showed her the futures trading. And in just a matter of minutes, I made $1,000 off it, a couple of trades, actually one trade. And then she was like, "Oh my God, what?" And she was like totally baffled by this, right? And she was calling me the rest of the day, asking me questions. Well, what does that broker use? How do you do that? And she was like going on about it. So it's kind of amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And not found that I've shown a number of people, neighbors, friends, this technique, and they flat out don't believe it. I have to show them actual trades and go, in and out of a trade in 30 seconds and made whatever. And they're like, how's that even possible?
Yep.
Because most people are trained that the most they're going to get is by hiring a professional who can possibly make you 5 or 6% a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just inherently, people, they don't want to sometimes put that extra effort into that. There's a lot of people are just lazy in nature, I guess, right? And they want you to do it for them, or they don't have time to do it. Because even my son, he's got an electrical engineering degree, he works hard, makes good money, but I talked to him about some of this stuff, and he's like, okay, yeah, but he has no interest in doing it. So I figure after he's been in corporate America for long enough, he's going to say, man, this really sucks. I want to get out of here. And then he might take an interest then. So
yeah. Well, my oldest son is the same way, and just let him have a few years of getting beaten up in corporate America and get fed up with that. And
Cezanne's a good example. It only took her 25 years.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, she just turned 51, and she's heavy in this. She trades with these guys and just makes a fortune. And she just discovered in the last, in fact, I guess it was about a year and a half ago, I get this email from her, and she said, I just got to tell you, I just can't believe that you taught me this, and it's changed my life. How wonderful this works. That's your own daughter,
Yeah.
And, it took me a little while to remember her name, and then I finally did. And so that's
Cool.
Okay. There's a question from Carl for Mark, and Carl asks, how do I find out more about your futures trading?
So, Carl, we're starting to get set up on the website. We're using the same charting system, the ISE charts that we have. There's going to be a new selection on management. You can go in and select the futures charts. We're going to look at a 3-minute and possibly a 5-minute chart. Sometimes I typically use a 3-minute chart. So we've added that to the charting service. And then we're still using the same basic indicators. There's a few things we're going to tweak a little bit, I think. But we'd like to use, I prefer, and I recommend this, is use a candle chart or a bar chart so you can see the movement and also the coloring. There's a red, green. It gives you more indication of what's going on. But look at the website, and there's going to be some emails coming out soon. If you want to send me an email, mark@micromomenttrading.com. Again, that's mark@micromomenttrading.com. I can help keep you abreast of what's going on and get things, get you in the right direction, I guess.
And then Carl asks, is there a new platform for futures?
So we're using a new platform. We are going through a discount broker. We're actually using a brokerage firm called Infinity Futures. And they have a nice, what they call dome, depth of market, or ladder, they call it, the pricing ladder that we trade from. It's really kind of a compact trading system that they have. Matter of fact, Ninja Trader just bought them out. So they're going to probably incorporate that into their platform sometime in the future. And Ninja Trader is another one that we like. With Ninja Trader, you can also, if you're a coding kind of guy, you can use C# to write some code around it. And at the same time, we're working on doing something similar that will create more of an automatic kind of system for us so that you can actually go to sleep and wake up. Oh, look, I made some money last night. Cool. How easy is that, right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I love how they come up with these names for these brokerage outfits. So pretty soon it'll be like killer trading.
Right.
Yeah.
Piranha trading.
Piranha trading. Yeah, that's right.
What kind of fees do you get with futures, Mark?
So futures are more. I mean, if you look used to options, they can be 35 cents, 65 cents. But futures got more or higher exchange fees. It's going to be more round trip, typically about $5 you can negotiate down to. So it does have quite a bit of difference that's going on there. But we're dealing with bigger money too and bigger leverage. So to me, they're insignificant based on the number of trades I'm doing. It doesn't really make any difference to me.
Yeah, making money. Hey, can you explain the leverage as a fulcrum? Can you run through the 3 examples, your A, B, and C? I don't know if you can do that without the visual. But.
Yeah, I know, right? But basically, the thing of we talk about leverage, right? Just like in physics, you could use a lever to lift something. You've probably seen that yourself, or if you want to put a board under something, you can pry it and lift it up. Like I've done that with my mower, right? My riding mower. Put something there in between the lever and the mower itself, push down on it, and as long as you can hold it up, you can get underneath there or put something underneath to hold it up while you work on it. So much like that, the lever financially is what we're doing, is we're using that. In the case of futures, it's really kind of margin, right? We're using this margin to leverage the usage. So when we're doing one trade, we have $500 tied up. We're controlling $160,000 worth of that futures index at one point. So in our case, that's what we're referring to as leverage, because we're getting much greater leverage. And then the returns that we're getting on this, because we're only, putting $500 out there essentially, and we're making, in some cases, in one trade, $1,000, it's pretty significant. So.
And again, they can do this virtually until they get it down.
And we highly recommend that. We're going to expect everyone to do this virtually for the first 30 days at least, and then come back in to using one contract to start with, and then work their way up to 3 to 5 to 10 if they desire. So,
Very good. Let's see what else we have here. Just looking at the comments, both those from Carl. If you have comments or you want to ask any questions about any of our services, go ahead and just click on the comment section and ask us anything you'd like. I know there's just been tremendous buzz around the futures, and when the service can start, it's pretty exciting. As Joe said, when Mark comes on in the morning and we're doing our introductions and news before we trade micro moment, he'll tell us what he did in the previous couple hours, and it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, sometimes by then I've made 50, 70 points the other day, made over 90 and a half points, times 20, then multiply by 100 contracts you're trading. It's just like, okay, I go back to bed if I want to go work out. I don't know.
Yeah, Mark, I think the more important thing is this. I've been thinking about this is when we have our cruises and stuff for our micro moment people, can we mix in the futures people, or is it going to be like a natural conflict, like they get in fights and stuff like that, or should the meetings be separate? Just,
I don't think so. I mean, maybe some that we have to separate anyway, just because they're that way. But, but I think generally overall we're talking about trading, so I think it all, gels together, right? This is just another arrow in our quiver we talk about. So we have all these different techniques. We have our longer term techniques, I call them. Now they become shorter because of the new option chains that are weekly or daily even. But anything from covered calls, to the micro moment trading to futures, it's
Well, that's right. You talked. That's right, because you talked on futures several weeks ago when we had the seminar here in Fort Worth.
Correct.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I can see these aligning nicely. You get up, start your day with some futures trading, and then transition over into micro moment trading. So, I don't see a real conflict there.
And that's what I do now, right? Because I get up and sometimes get a shower, eat some breakfast, or I'm just drinking coffee. I look at the market. Oh, it's moving. Oh, okay. I'll put a couple of trades on. Boom, boom, boom. Made some money. Oh, okay. And then we start the micro moment trading thing later, right? So.
Yeah, and I think that's very cool if you develop some automation in Ninja's platform to be able to recognize some in and out points or some ranges or however you're going to do that and have that happen automatically. That'll be a game changer.
And you got to remember, so these large brokerage firms like the Merrill Lynch's and the big guys out there and that are Charles Schwab, whatever. They all have these quants, and they all have these people that are writing code to do this very thing. That's exactly what they're doing, not just on the futures market, but on options and stocks and everything else.
Right.
And a lot of times, they have somebody monitoring it because they want to get in the trade at the optimum time, and then it's up to you to get out of it, or maybe it tells you when to get out of it, but you still have to monitor it in some cases. But that's how they make their big money. They have these things they call them black boxes that are grinding out profits all day long. So.
Yep. In, out, in, out, in, out. And Carl also asked, what time of day do you trade futures?
So we're going to set the class to start at 7:45 Central Time to about 9:45 a.m. Central Time. But typically, I'm up sometimes at 6 a.m., like I said, looking at the futures, depending on what's going on in the market. But once you understand the technique, you can take advantage of that yourself, right? Just get up in the morning and look at it. I have seen big market movements happening at 1 or 2, in the morning or 3, but of course, I'm sleeping usually, so I don't pay attention to those so much.
And hey, so there's Marianne. Hey, Marianne. Not sure where you are in the planet, but she says, morning, gentlemen. Mark, when will you be doing a one-day futures seminar again?
So there's some talk. We're going to start the actual futures daily sessions, live trading room, we call it, on the 28th of this month is what we're pushing for. So I might be able to get one in maybe next weekend even, but that would be nice. So we'll see if we can get the advertising out and get some of the links set up in time. And it'd be good if we could do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll absolutely be there.
because it's going to be really difficult for you to get in, just like micro moment trading. If you haven't really had to class on some of this stuff, you don't really know what's going on when you first get in there, right? There's a lot of stuff happening. So,
yeah.
Plus, we have a new platform. I mean, you can use TOS. There's nothing wrong with Thinkorswim. You can use other platforms, just that the cost associated with the margin requirements, what they have to allocate per trade is much greater.
Yeah.
Like in the case of Thinkorswim, we're using $500 per contract. They want $22.50 per contract. So it's much greater. So
yeah. But the profit potential is in line with the expenses. So who cares?
Yep.
And Mark, has actual trading, like, we take advantage of the incredible trading platforms for our micro moment stuff, which, as you know, have changed over the years. Mm-hmm. How would this have been back when you came with us and we were doing the options and stuff? Back then, they still had futures trading. Has there been any big advances in the futures trading platforms and such, or what?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, these indices that we're talking about now, the E-minis, they didn't exist, 10 years ago. They're new, right? And so back in the day, like we did with the newspaper, you take to the paper, you'd buy a stock, right? Back in the day, you'd have to buy a commodity or buy a futures, call your broker, then next morning, wake up and look at the paper and go, oh, crap, it's way down or it's way up, right? And you might have an issue on your hands, right? This is, again, the same technology that's come about for the options trading, and the regular stock market itself has also benefited the futures market. And so these new products, there's these new platforms, and it just made everything so much easier.
You know what's so funny, if you remember back this, because I'm the only one old enough to remember back this far, my memory is perfect, is when you used to go to, I used to take Cezanne to McDonald's when she was in grade school before I dropped her off at school. And there'd be a lot of people in there, and they would have the papers out there, and there were attorneys and various people having breakfast at McDonald's. They had their papers out there going over the stock quotes. I'm thinking, it just dawned on me, you don't ever see that anymore.
No, not at all, right?
I don't even know if newspapers still publish.
In fact, that's very true, Jokes. I used to go to McDonald's on purpose so I get the Wall Street Journal and look at the numbers,
Yeah.
Unless I wanted to subscribe to it, then I get delivered at home. But
yeah,
that's true. I haven't looked at a stock table in a newspaper in years.
Do they even have them anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they'd waste the print and the ink on
the Wall Street Journal is still printed. I mean, it has a lot of news articles and stuff in it too. But
Marion says that she's leaving Chicago shortly for Atlanta. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Yeah. Right. Carl says they used to use fractions like a quarter, 3/8, not digital. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so we have to keep in our head all the time. Well, that's 3/16. Okay, it was 1/8. Oh, it's 125. Okay, 0.125. Remember all these numbers, right? It's kind of just automatically in your head to figure out where the stock's at. But
yeah, that's right. They used to quote them. 1 1/4.
So you have the bid and ask, and it'd be in like 1/16, 3 1/16 by maybe 3 3/16 or something.
Yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Wish I'd see more attention. Recently, they've been going back to that third digit. They're talking about adding that third digit, or they have in a lot of cases for the stock and options trading.
Well, to show you how long I've been doing this, I still have the original ticker tape I use.
Oh yeah,
seriously,
printed out.
Holy smokes. You always see in the movies, the stockbroker, they had the ticker tape and read the ticker.
Yeah.
Talk about painful. Like here's the okay, wait, it's up. Wait. 3 minutes later, it's down.
Oh, that's funny. Well, guys, if there's, let me see if we have any more questions here. Mary says, Joseph, I remember the photo you showed us of Cezanne going to your broker with you.
Yeah, it was this was back when you had to go physically to the broker. It was Merrill Lynch, downtown Dallas, and she and her cousin, I took a picture of them in front of the Merrill Lynch office at Merrill Lynch. And that's what you had to do. You had to go inside, and then there was always, they had a couple of rows of chairs. We had all these old guys smoking. And then you wait for your broker. And he didn't have, I worked for Merrill Lynch, and when I was there many, many, many years later, they compared to today, we didn't have in the Merrill Lynch office anything compared to what you guys, we have right this moment. None whatsoever. So it was really back, but we didn't do any futures back then. It was just stocks, but it was pretty primitive.
Right.
Yeah, with the advent of desktop computers and laptops and digital age, makes this all possible.
Yeah. So I think I told you that story though at the Masters. Maybe it was there, but back when I was playing around with the stock market and options, kind of learning some things, we discovered futures and we thought, hey, this is pretty cool. We're going to trade futures. And somehow we were trading the egg futures. I don't know why. And we screwed up. And so we said, okay, expired. We didn't know it was going to expire. So expired. Next day, I get this call from this exchange. So where do you want your 14 truckloads of eggs? And I'm like, what? Oh, shit, what are you talking about?
You really took a delivery?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had to. I was like, oh my God, I didn't think that was even possible. We're like, oh my God, So we had to get a warehouse. We had to get these trucks set up. We had to find a buyer.
Wow.
We lost some money on it, but it was like, oh my God, it's just a nightmare.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I didn't realize they delivered the actual eggs to you.
Oh, we had to take delivery. Yeah, the contract expired. Then boom, you got to take delivery. It's a contract like anything else,
Oh,
so if you did hog futures, they would.
I just have to have a bunch of pigs in my house or 10,000 barrels of oil somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
have to get the EPA permit or something for my house.
Oh, that's a great story. That's a great story.
Well, back in not the future, but the option days, it started off where farmers would go out there and they'd sell you in advance their crops.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so, I mean, you can do options on futures too, right? That's the same thing. They're out there. They're available.
Yeah.
Marion says fractions are, and she also says wanted to say thank you to my whole CSE family, time and front, and especially behind the scenes for all that you do to help us all. With a lot of great emojis. Thank you, Marion. Marion is.
Marion's been a client as long as Mark, and she's just absolutely gorgeous. We love her, and she goes to all the events, and she's very special to us. So.
She really is. She really is.
Look up kind of waves. There's probably Marion flying by. So
that's right. Yeah, she's big in Vegas too. She's big in Vegas too. So that's her other hope.
Yeah.
Carl says, please send an email about the trading class. I'm sure. Mark
if you send me an email, Carl, with your email address, I'll send you something. So again, Mark at micromomenttrading.com, and I can send you some links and stuff that help you get set up. So.
Very good. Very good. Well, guys, unless we have any other comments, we can wrap this up for today.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys know how to cut the thing off, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So again, just to reiterate, micro moment trading, which is currently in operation now with Tim and myself in Cezanne, right?
Yep.
Stellar turns that Joe's been talking about. It's easy to do. We think, it takes a little bit of time to learn and get spun up, but it's easy for you to take advantage of if you want to.
And I think on the website, Mark, they can get a week or 2 weeks free of that service too.
Yeah. I think it is 2 weeks free. So there's a link there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, that's micromomenttrading.com. It's scrolling across the screen here.
And I just think it's so significant. You can virtual trade it. Again, when Mark and I started doing this over 20 years ago, you couldn't virtual trade. And then when they did finally start doing virtual trading, it really didn't work very well. So it's been a long time before it came around.
Sure.
But that's big today. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, you may try a virtual trade and you can't do one single successful trade. That tells you, well, don't do it.
Yeah, put your real money at risk. Yeah.
You may find out that all of a sudden, you're really good at this stuff and you make a fortune.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what we're here to do, folks. We're here to make money.
Yeah.
Right. And help you make money also.
Yeah. Through education.
Well, okay.
Thank you, guys.
No more messages. Well, there's something for Ricky.
Oh, yep.
Oh, thanks for all the education. You're sure welcome, Ricky.
Oh, you bet, Ricky. Yep.
Yeah. And thank you all for joining us in the mornings and and using the services. You're the reason that we're here, and thank you for being here today.
Now, Mike, the normal MC here, is not here because he is sick, so he'll probably be here next Thursday.
Weather, so we wish him a speed recovery. So get back
and Randy, our star, baseball player, will be here. So,
is he at like the World Series or something for his group, or what?
Yeah, no, this is a World Series for that group. It's really sophisticated, thing, and a big deal. And they were before that. They were down in somewhere in Georgia.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Playing a big playoff, and that's where he got on the big monitor up in the stadium, and became a famous celebrity.
That's right.
Now he's a rock star. Yep.
So an award at our AAA ballpark here, which is not far from my house. So he's a big deal now.
That's right. Yeah.
So all the girls chase him on the street and everything, or what? How's that work?
I'm sure it does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take off. See you guys. Thanks for everybody for attending.
Yep. Everybody.
See y'all in the morning. Well, no, Mark's gonna be traveling tomorrow, so he won't be there in the morning.
Correct.
But Tim and Cezanne will be.
We'll be there. We'll be trading.
Okay. I'm going. See you guys.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Bye bye.